Hi, welcome to Is It a Film, a podcast that critiques and memes film and asks one very important question: is the film? I'm your host, Jonathan, aka I sent my film to Sundance, 10,000% sure I'm gonna get rejected. Psych! Fuck you, I'm a genius. And I'm joined today by my ever-attentive co-host, my best friend, my pal, my amigo, my drug, Vincent.
AKA I forgot to hit record last week.
Because he's a fucking dumbass.
We recorded this last week, and I pressed record.
We didn't record this last week.
Yeah, we didn't, but I stopped the recording for a second, and I didn't resume it, or something along the lines of that. We're doing this episode again a week later.
Begotten Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
So, also, AKA I'm here to chew ass and kick bubblegum. Fuck, that ain't come out right. Yeah, this is episode 5 of Is It a Film? An episode we would like to call You Kids Better Be Gotten the Fuck Off My Front Yard, or AKA Be Thotten, AKA I need to turn off my ringtone because it is on, and the Anthony and Todd Discord's going off for some reason.
I just fucking left my wallet.
Which Jonathan is not a part of. He's not a part of the Anthony and Todd Discord.
I don't have Discord, so
you should, because it's a good app to communicate with your fellow peers.
Isn't that what a fucking phone is for? You just text them?
No, but like your good peers. Your good peers who you don't know. New peers. You make new peers, Jonathan.
That's Twitter.
You make new friends, and you don't have to get into arguments on Twitter.
I don't have to get into arguments on Twitter.
You don't have to make a second Twitter account just to fight people who blocked you.
I deleted that account.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or like, I don't think I deleted it because I couldn't remember the password to delete it, but I removed it from my phone so I can't access it anymore.
That's good. Today we're going over Begotten. And Jonathan, can you help me out real fast and do the basic ass intro while I put up the slideshow? Because I forgot to do it.
Oh, you goddamn idiot. So, Begotten is a 1990 American cult experimental dark fantasy horror. It clearly comes off of the wave of experimental filmmaking that was started by Eraserhead with these like dark, surrealist, semi-narrative stories. It's a narration and reimagining of the Book of Genesis. That's the basic thing. If you read the back of the DVD, it says it's also imagining of like the death of Jesus and like a bunch of other stories through the eyes of like Druid and like paganism. So it's written, produced, shot, and directed by E. Elias Merhaig. This was his debut feature. It was after a couple of shorts. He followed that up with Shadow of the Vampire, which starred John Malkovich, and it was produced by Nicolas Cage.
So it must be good.
Look,
the Nicolas Cage seal of approval means a lot.
Mandy was good.
Mandy was good, but also I don't think he produced that.
No, I don't think.
So that's probably why. Yeah. So is Shadow of the Vampire good?
Shadow of the Vampire is good if you don't know anything about historical timelines involving the development of film.
So being a film student, I think I would be in the clear.
Yeah,
because I don't remember that shit. No. That was freshman year. I'm a super senior. I don't have time for development of film.
Yeah, basically it's a film about fictionalizing the creation of F.W. Murnau's classic 1922 film Nosferatu.
Nosferatu?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu's Illmatic.
Yeah. But it gets a lot of like the timelines of like when things developed in film and correct.
So Bohemian Rhapsody did it.
Yeah.
To the point where everything's just fake.
Yeah. Then he followed that up in 2004 with Suspect Zero, which stars Aaron Eckhart.
Two-Face.
Yeah, it's starring Two-Face.
Is this the prequel to Dark Knight?
You know what? The movie's dumb enough it might be.
What is it about?
The movie is about a detective hunting a serial killer who hunts other serial killers. But also, like, they're somehow all loosely connected to this one serial killer who the detective failed to capture, like, years ago and got demoted because of it. Because, like, he arrested him on, like, shaky circumstances, and so he got to go free. And then, like, there's, like, weird, like, quasi, like, pseudo-surrealist shit in there. And it's a bad movie.
And he also directed music videos for Cryptor Kid. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I had dyslexia for a second. By Marilyn Manson. Also, Antichrist Superstar by Marilyn Manson. So, going from Begotten to Marilyn Manson, not that
it makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
Also, The Heinreich Maneuver by Interpol, and then Serpentina by Danzig. So, this is like completely random choices.
Those make less sense.
Danzig kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
Marilyn Manson and Danzig isn't
Yeah.
the worst job. Interpol is just weird.
Yeah.
That's just like random.
We were talking about this the last time we tried to do this video, except Vincent fucked up. We mentioned like the music videos that like David Lynch did, where he did like a bunch for like Nine Inch Nails, but then he also did like an entire concert for fucking Duran Duran. And it's like, you know what? Sometimes.
And then David Lynch did a PS2 commercial, which is the peak of his career.
Yeah, but that
Eraserhead's here. PlayStation 2 commercials here.
it doesn't sound like it would make sense, but then you see the PlayStation 2 commercial, like, oh, that makes sense for David Lynch. It doesn't make sense for PS2.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's not an
actually, unless it's like advertising like Silent Hill 2. That's
I don't think it was.
It wasn't.
It was just,
that would be the only game where it's like
the entire PlayStation 2 console, and it's like, yeah, no what, David Lynch doesn't make sense. Perfect fit. Then we're gonna get Bus Driver to do some. Did you not know that?
No.
He did like. There's like, I don't remember what it was. He did like either a commercial or like a startup menu or something, or like a background. He did something for the PlayStation.
That's great. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But it's edited by Begotten's edited by Noel Perrat, I think I'm saying it, and music by Evan Album, which I'm kind of mixed on the music of this because usually last like 4 films we did, I really enjoyed the music. This film
barely has music.
It's like ambient sound, but there's too many fucking crickets.
Yeah.
I know we're outside in a lot of it, pretty much all of this film. There's too many fucking crickets.
Yeah, this film takes place in a desolate shack where you'd hear the crickets, and then outside where you'd obviously hear the crickets.
But
there's
I know
so
crickets
many
are active.
Crickets.
There's crickets and bird sounds.
Yeah.
But I know birds and crickets are active, but I don't think they chirp during like noon.
They do sometimes.
Like daytime.
If they're in the darkness, they will, and sometimes they do. And like if nothing else, this film is the darkness. So
yeah, it stars Brian Zellberg as. Yes, these are some great roles here.
God killing himself.
Donna Dempsey as Mother Earth, and then Stephen Charles Barry as Son of Earth. This film was shot using a 16mm Arriflex camera on black and white reversal film while filming Merhaig. I always mess up his name. I messed it up completely the entire episode last week.
And you just gave up.
Merhaig experimented with the film reel to give it an old, weathered look. This including running the unshot negative through a sandpaper to scratch it up. Just scratch it up a little bit. Before shooting, still unsatisfied with the overall product, Merhaig. I said it right 2 seconds ago and I completely forgot.
Yep.
I begotten his name.
Wrong every fucking time.
Oh my god, decided to use an optical printer but was unable to find one within the film's budget. He then constructed himself one using old spare parts he acquired from camera stores and special effects houses.
Yeah, it's something like probably the most noteworthy feature of this film is its visual aesthetic, which is trying to create
just distorted film.
Not just distorted, but like degraded and like decayed.
It's like looking at a dusty picture frame with the dust still on it before you blow it off.
Yeah, and like we were talking about this the last time we recorded this. It's like comparing this to like the work of like Guy Madden, who is obsessed with like the olden era of like silent film. So like his whole thing is trying to create the look, but he's trying to create the style of it and the way like they stylized and did special effects and coloring. He's just trying to create like this little time capsule of like the visual elements that made up silent film, and he's just obsessed with it, and like films have been lost. This is, however, trying to create like the look of like a film that's like was shot on nitrate and was left to decay over time. It's just like, hey, that looks gross. Yeah. And they just made a film that looked like that.
This is like one of the more admirable things about this. Actually, let me get into forward, and then it becomes the more admirable thing. Yeah. Approximately 8 to 10 hours of optical work, rephotographing, visual treatments, and filtering was required to produce 1 minute of film. The total post-production period for the 72-minute movie was 8 months. This
is one of my favorite like post-production stories. My absolute favorite is for the film Epidemic by Lars von Trier, which is a black and white film. However, in the top left corner throughout the whole film is just a red watermark, I guess, that just says Epidemic the entire time. And that one feature that they put on the film throughout the whole film cost more than every other element of the budget. It was just putting that on there because it was shot on film and like trying to do that with like a black and white film.
Why did he
do that?
Yeah.
It's Lars von Trier. Why does he do half the shit he does?
But that one I need an explanation for.
I don't. The only explanation I can think of
Is it
that,
because he was hungry for shoes?
no, the only explanation I can think of is that the film uses like a. We're talking about a different film than we're supposed to, but like anyway, I'm going to just summarize it. Is the film is about the making of a film, and like the real world starts paralleling to like the film that they're making. So I guess it's just trying to be like super meta and like pointing out the name of the film on the film about the making of the film that they're making.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
This film was Begotten was banned in Singapore due to its graphic and disturbing content, and not surprising. But also, this is I said this last week. This thing has very disturbing things, and there's things that are very taboo and just bad in it, like scenes of rape. And scenes of people being caught on fire, kind of, not really. It doesn't look good. People standing next to a fire, which is even more than taboo.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's worse.
There's questions of why, but then I read about like some of the other things that have been banned and why. I'm like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Like I just read today. Do you know that an episode of Peppa Pig was banned in Australia?
No.
Here's why. So the episode, because it was made in Britain, where spiders like are pretty much harmless, was like, hey, you don't have to be afraid of spiders, they're not gonna hurt you. And Australia's like, our spiders will fucking kill you. It's like, they are fucking dangerous as shit. So they banned the whole episode.
Australia just bans everything. They don't they don't have fun over there.
Well, yeah, they're too busy trying to not fucking get killed by spiders.
They're too busy revitalizing psychedelic rock over there to stop banning stuff.
Well, in that case, fucking keep banning shit. Get me another fucking Tropical Fuckstorm album.
Well, it is. It's coming out.
Yeah,
September.
I want two this
year.
This
is the film podcast, not the music podcast, Jonathan. What really got me into wanting to see this film, besides Jonathan blabbering on and on and on about it, was watching the trailer on YouTube, which I think sets it up perfectly because it compares this as makes Eraserhead looks like Ernest Saves Christmas or something like that.
The worst Ernest film. Why would you even compare it to that?
Is it really the worst Ernest film?
They're all bad, but that one's like especially bad.
Is there a reason?
It's just especially stupid and makes next to no sense. Actually, no, I'm going to say that Ernest Scared Stupid might be the worst one.
I think the worst one is where he goes to jail because it's not actually how jails work.
That one's pretty bad, too. Again, they're all bad.
I think the ambience of the trailer, which is kind of sets up in like a minute and something, the kind of ambience of the whole entire film, stretched out very longly, is just the version of the trailer. So if you just stretch out the trailer, it's just the film.
Yeah.
Me and Jonathan watched the totally legal version of this. You can find the whole film on YouTube. Don't tell Murridge or whatever his name is.
Look, I bought the DVD. I just couldn't find the DVD for this because I was moving.
I watched the totally legal version.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah. Jonathan gave me the totally legal version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally did.
Why is it important?
Which I was given to by a friend.
Yeah. Friends share DVDs, you know?
Yeah, just totally legal versions of the DVD.
Yeah. Why is it important, Jonathan?
So it's important because in the like grand scheme of like the development of experimental film and then what would eventually become extreme cinema, it's kind of just a good cornerstone of like the two worlds mixing of like this extreme horror, I guess, film, but mixed with like extremely experimental filmmaking techniques, a complete abandonment of traditional narrative structure or any narrative structure really. And it's one of those like cornerstone films of experimental filmmaking in regards to content and stylization and structure and
okay.
Yeah. It's just okay. Yeah, it's just a good. It's just important for like that.
I was gonna say because the guy pisses blood, or what I thought was blood, but it ended up being shit. But it sounded like he was peeing out of his butt,
but it was shitting. Yeah, because that's what you do when you die. You piss and shit.
You piss out of your butthole?
No, you piss and you shit. You do both. Your body evacuates its bowels and its bladder when you die. So remember, kids, if you're gonna die, take a shit first.
Take a shit.
It's less gross for the people who find you. See, that's why Elvis got it right. He died on the toilet.
It's like, oh, he shit himself. Oh no, he did that just so happenly while he died, so it's not disgusting.
No, see here. Conspiracy theory. I don't think Elvis actually like died on the toilet like as we think he did, where like he had a heart attack while shitting. I think he was like knew he was gonna die. He was like, I'm not doing this to people. He just dropped his pants, sat down the toilet, and went peacefully into the night, and then shat himself, in the toilet to do everyone a favor.
Well, Elvis is not dead. He's just in Cuba with Tupac.
Yeah. Man, XXX Tentacion.
God damn it. No, XXX Tentacion lives in the giant-ass monument they established for him.
Did they really?
He has a mausoleum.
Of all the fucking people who could get one, who deserve one, you give it to the fucking, like, woman beater, gay basher.
Yeah, because that's how the world works.
Trump's America.
Yep. Trump's America. We give mausoleums to assholes. So it's time to go over the most important segment of the show. The most important resource known to man is used during the segment. Of course, I'm talking about Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a free encyclopedia on the internet for those of you who are not aware, and it's not only good for writing your papers in school, but it's also good to describe the summary of these films, because anything not mentioned in this does not matter and will not matter. We say that, but then we bring up things that are not mentioned in the Wikipedia plot summary.
All the time. It's
All
the
the
majority
time.
of our show.
So I guess they do matter.
They matter to us because we're nerds and we care.
Again, Wikipedia, greatest resource to man, and sometimes dolphins, and sometimes dogs as well, as they can use and browse the internet.
And sometimes really smart orangutans who know how to sign and do sign language.
Oh, well, those are just humans.
Is that what gingers are?
No, but I'm just gonna stop with that joke.
Look, I was born with red hair. My beard is still red. I can make those jokes. I'm a daywalker.
You're walking something. You're walking pretty hard over here.
Walking hard, Dewey Cox story.
Oh my god! I don't even know I said that. We need to get in this Wikipedia summary. Okay, Jonathan, can you read the Wikipedia summary? Because I can't read.
I know you can't read.
I never learned, Jonathan.
Never learned how to read.
I can't read. Go ahead, Jonathan.
The story opens with a robed, profusely bleeding god disemboweling itself.
You know, as gods do.
Yeah. I mean...
On this, God made the world in 7 days, and on the 8th day, 6 days, and on the 7th day, he's like, fuck around. He was like, yeah, I'll fuck around and just disembowel myself.
Oh, God. What the fuck they gonna do?
What is his belly button attached to? It's just...
I need to find out. Starts carrying around.
He's like, oh, shit, let's put it back in. Put it back in. Put it back in.
Oh, God. With the act ultimately ending in its death, I guess we should talk about the practical effects involved.
Oh
in
yeah,
this.
it looks like he has like a bandage
Surrounding
him, and then he's just pulling out hamburger meat.
Yeah,
and
there's probably like a solid like inch and a half to 2 inch like distinctive bump around like the abdomen area. That's clearly not like a stomach. It's very clear like
a bandage holding
around
meat.
like.
I'll give him credit. I don't think it's hamburger meat. I do think it's like it is meat.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It looks like
it looks like steak.
Yeah,
probably.
It looks like ground like beef, or
because that would just be hamburger.
Yeah,
meat.
or like
I just got a bunch of Whoppers.
the like meat discards that like a butcher shop, like the bad meats that they don't use, and they just like have like the chopped up bunches of it, and then they just discard. It looks like that covered in fake blood.
You can get bad meat. What have I been doing with my life? I want to buy some bad meat.
You know what? Go for it. Just actually, it's pretty easy to buy bad meat. You buy a regular meat and then you just leave it out in the sun.
No,
for a
that's
couple
dumb.
Of days.
I want to buy the bad meat, the meat that is bad, and then I want to serve it.
You don't have to buy it. You can just ask and they'll give it to you.
Oh,
sometimes.
really? I don't need to buy the bad meat.
For
The
one of
bad
my
meat
films,
is free.
I went to a butcher's like, hey, can I have your like meat discards? They're like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, it's for a film. They're like, oh, okay, come back at the end of the day and we'll give it to you.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I did.
I want to do the same thing for my stop motion film that's digital cutouts, but I just want some bad meat for motivation. Just to linger over on the side of the room, and I'll leave it out, so when you come here, it smells too. And you can just...
So this is the end of Is It a...
Go on.
A woman, Mother Earth, emerges
Oh,
from...
no, we forgot to mention, this is the pissing blood.
Oh, yeah, this is after...
No, not pissing blood. Okay, so like the sound effects are completely off during the scene. You hear like dripping, what sounds like pissing, but
there's also like the distinctive like stomach gurgling sound. Like,
yeah, I just thought he was pissing.
point being is after God disembowels itself, it shits itself.
Yeah, and it goes down its leg. It's a really cool shot.
Just like
the opening shots in
Elvis
this film
Presley.
really fit with the aesthetic of the film and the quality of it. Of like how degraded and scratchy it is. It really works.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it works for this entire thing because I think my Wikipedia summary of this is that it's really fucking long for not a lot of reasons.
This could have very easily been a short film.
This could have easily been 15 minutes
Yeah.
and had the same impact on me.
This is just really tangled. It's annoying me.
Yeah, you don't keep it tangled. Keep the headphones tangled.
No, it makes it impossible to lay it on my leg, which is the only way it doesn't fall and pull on my ears.
Maybe you should allow it to pull on your ears.
I got big ears.
You do got big ears.
Yeah.
You can hear big sounds.
Yeah.
And little sounds. All the sounds picked up by Jonathan's big ass ears. Continue with the Wikipedia summary.
A woman, Mother Earth, emerges from its remains, sexually arouses the dead body, and inseminates herself with its semen.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about biology or biology. I don't know which one it is because I never went to school.
It shows.
So I think we talked about this last week.
We did.
How long does semen last?
Semen.
Because I thought if it wasn't
semen
like,
has to be kept at a very specific temperature in order to stay alive. That's why if like you.
this is not the right temperature. Staying alive.
Sure. But point being is if you warm up your balls too much or you let them get too cold, you'll kill your semen and you have to wait for the next batch to grow, I guess. To be created.
You have to go to the semen farm and let your semen grow.
But then so if you let semen exit the body, it's going to become at the wrong temperature and it's going to die. But there's like a very, very, very small amount of time you have like to get it to where it needs to go in order to stay alive, to impregnate somebody.
So she scoops up the semen with her.
To do it onto yourself and then spend a fucking 10 minutes dancing around and rubbing it on yourself before you finally rub it in, the semen's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But this is God's semen, so maybe it's extra powerful.
No, because if it was extra powerful, it would carry someone who actually stood up during the film and did not just.
Well, it would have if it wasn't left out for so long.
The bad semen.
It was good semen. Did you let it sit out too long?
Oh my gosh! But also, this is kind of disgusting. She had a broccoli shaped bush. That's immediately the only thing I thought of. It's just oh, she has a bunch of broccoli. That'd be funny if that's actually what it was.
That would be an interesting.
There's no pubes down there. We need to glue broccoli. Because then you have the hamburger meat.
I generally don't think you've seen broccoli before.
It doesn't look. It didn't.
Or,
it was very thick. That's what I meant. It's broccoli because it just looks unnatural.
It can be thick.
I know, but it just looked weird.
Okay.
But it's also because the film's really scratchy.
This is gonna be really weird, but you should probably get on Pornhub more often.
No, I'm good. I know what the woman's sexual organs look like. They look like this. Sometimes they look like this.
What the fuck? I'm just gonna move on.
You should.
Pregnant, she wanders off into a vast barren landscape. The pregnancy manifests in a fully grown, convulsing man whom she leaves to his own devices.
Because that's what I would do if I had a child. I'd be fucking big enough to carry on your own.
Yeah, it ignores the weird scene with the coffin that just kind of manifests itself next to her and then disappears while she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't even remember that scene.
I do. Clearly. The son of Earth meets a group of faceless nomads who sees him with what is either a very long umbilical cord or a rope.
I like this description. We talked about this last week. Is how
It's
brutally honest.
because nothing in this film is explained. The only explanation we even know, or the only way we even know that this is a god is because it's credited as God
killing himself.
And so, yeah, it's just kind of be more this could be an umbilical cord, but
it's
on the other
definitely
hand,
a rope.
It's just a fucking rope. So
It's definitely a rope. I can see the stray lines or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
you can see the little bits of thread that come off as it's fraying and shit.
Yeah. These nomads.
We talked about this last time. We're trying to figure out what they represent.
I still think they represent kind of humans abusing Mother Nature and
It
taking
does.
from them, and also humans. You mentioned the thing about how they represent religion and how people are so devout, and also the killing of Jesus.
Yeah, because they talk about later on, but they take things from the Son of Earth and as gifts, and then kill him anyways.
Yeah.
It's kind of this thing where they abuse literally anything that's given to us, and we just don't give a fuck. Like, we're killing the planet, we're killing everything that's ever been given to us for, like, our own benefit. Because we suck. That's basically what they represent. It's just how much we suck.
But also they take up 50 minutes of screen time just kind of fumbling around. So
which I guess makes sense because that's what we mostly do is we fumble around.
No, I just make some good memes.
You make memes. I'm not going to call them good, but you make memes.
They're good because they're good. They're quality memes. And you should appreciate them more often, Jonathan. It would be good for your health. And yes, indeed, that was a threat. I will poison you with the bad seed. No. I will poison you with the bad meat.
I'm just not going to ever eat anything when I'm around you. How about that? No?
I'm not going to say... Did I say I was going to let you eat something on your own?
I'm just never going to be around you ever again after today. So this is the end of it, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, move on.
Shit, where was I? The Son of Earth vomits organic pieces that the nomads excitedly accept as gifts.
You know what you do? Jonathan gives me gifts all the time. He's like, here, Vincent. I'm like, oh, cool, another lung, I think. Maybe you should get that checked out. No, I want you to have it.
No, it's my bad lung. It's my bad luck lung.
The bad lung, you know?
Yeah.
You get rid of it, and then you get a new lung. And then you just swallow that one, and it attaches to the other one.
Yeah.
So then you have two good lungs.
That's how biology and science works.
That's how this film probably works.
Yeah. The nomads finally bring the man to a fire and burn him.
That's being way too honest. They put him
way too giving with that
that's
description.
Yeah, they put him next to a fire.
They put like a fire like probably a solid like 2 feet in front of him and then just put the camera like really low. It's like we could try to make this look better. But I'm almost out of film stock.
And I think we said this last week. If it wasn't for the Wikipedia summary, I would not know that he's being burned. I thought they were just warming it up because he was cold.
Yeah.
And he needed a blanket, but they didn't have any because it was ancient times and they didn't have blankets.
Exactly. And the fact that like literally right after this, going back to Wikipedia summary, Mother Earth encounters the resurrected man and comforts him. They never really showed him dead. They showed him next to a fire. And then he's just there again. And then there's Mother Earth. And, like, if this didn't tell me that he was dead, I would have just assumed, like, oh, the nomads abandoned him. Well, that's kind of shitty.
Nomads got bored with them because they couldn't spit up any more gifts.
Yeah.
This mother, she sees, I'm going to say this line, she sees them with a similar umbilical cord. And she basically drags them along. And this is where, like, the most beautiful shot in the film is, where you get this kind of, this, like, almost silhouette around the corners of the film. This edge, this black edge. And then in the center is just them. And it looks so beautiful. The contrast is fantastic. It's super saturated. It's super contrasty. Not saturated, but the whites are super black. The darks are super dark.
Yeah, it's called high contrast.
I know.
Film
I explained it
terms.
for people who do not know what contrast means, Jonathan.
Okay. Is that a thing people don't know?
Not everyone uses Instagram filters, Jonathan.
That's fair.
Some people just use Twitter like you and then harass people and then make a new account.
I don't harass people. I find people who... Okay, literally the person I harassed incited murders, alright? She kind of deserved to be harassed. She incited somebody to, like... fucking commit like a spree killing on Muslims for the fact that they're Muslims. If anybody deserves to be harassed, it was her. Fuck you.
I was gonna make a joke, but there's no point to anymore. So.
There's not.
Okay, continue.
The nomads appear and proceed to rape her.
As you do. It's as not as I do, but as they
humanity does to the earth.
I'm not human, so I don't do that. I'm a good boy.
Yeah, so we talked about this last time, like the way like the rape is presented because of how like the imagery is like, so high contrast, you can't really tell what's going on for the most part.
I see he's doing something with his hands, and they're all kind of grabbing bits. But
then there's like the bit where they're like just kind of like hitting in a general area of her vagina.
Yeah, I'm
with,
like
a staff with like
looks
like just a wrapping wrapped around the
This
cloth.
again, one thing we forgot to mention is this was originally intended to be a theater production, and then it kind of evolved its way into a film. And moments like this show why it's a theater production.
Yeah. And we also talked about last time like the various forms of theater production, because we talked about like the theater of Alejandro Jodorowsky, where he had like a bunch of performance artists work with him. So like whenever they wanted to like blood, they would actually cut themselves because it's part of like their performance, part of their art, and how that kind of translated into his first film.
They're idiots. You can just buy fake blood.
I mean, they could have, but like, I've never said performance art was smart.
I just want someone to like would have gone to one of his screenings like, hey, you know you could just buy fake blood. He's like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Fuck, this is not how you do things.
And that's why the next 2 films by Alan Truscott were just covered in fake blood. He was overcompensating. But no, yeah.
It's kind of like, this is kind of like the boundary of where it's like okay to do something like this because it's kind of like abstract.
It's abstract and it still like captures the disturbing nature. And the last, keep referencing what we talked about last time. Last time I talked about the contrasting this depiction of this abstracted depiction of rape versus a film like Belladonna of Sadness, where like this Belladonna of Sadness, which was made as part of a fucking porno series, has like this very abstracted view of rape, but it's also very clearly like fetishized, especially given that not a single woman was on the creative team. The only woman who worked on the film was the voice actress. And it's just a very clear like fetishization of rape, whereas this one is like abstracted, but it's trying to capture and pretty effectively captures like the horror aspect and how horrifying and how awful of an event it is. So it's abstracted, but it's not abstracted in a way that takes away from the disturbing aspects of the act.
Yeah. Moving on.
Son of Earth is left to mourn over the lifeless, but we forgot to mention that. When they come, they kind of beat the Son of Earth over the head of him out and just kind of leave him writhing.
All I remember is a lot
blood.
of dragging. This film's like 90% dragging people with ropes.
This film is like what 60 some minutes long,
and
I'd say a solid 40 minutes is walking and dragging.
I would say a solid 4 hours is this solid dragging. Like first 3 minutes, it was just like.
It defies the laws of time with how long the dragon.
It seems like it's longer.
Yeah.
I felt like I watched this for 2 days. It's just dragging. I'm like, oh, I fell asleep, woke back up. Oh, what are they doing? Oh, they're still fucking dragging.
They're still dragging.
Do they not know the location of where they're going? Should I give them G maps so they can figure out where the hell they're going?
And that's part of what makes this film hard to watch. It's kind of like an endurance test, not only like in terms of content if you're not used to this type of thing, but also just in terms of how fucking slow it moves.
Yeah, and also in terms of memes, you're just like, oh, he's pouring out steak from his
ass.
From his Band-Aid.
Yeah. But yeah, it took me, I don't remember, I've only watched this film twice, but it took me like 4 other tries before I watched it completely through the first time. And I gave up, not because like I was disturbed or disgusted, but because I just got fucking bored. Mm-hmm. And like I can normally, I'm fine with slow cinema. I love films by filmmakers like Tarkovsky and filmmakers like that, where like it's slow, but you can feel a purpose within the slowfulness. Like it's actually creating the sense of time, and that's what's important. You don't.
I've sat through Transformers 3, so I know slow cinema.
The point being is like this film.
Am I wrong?
It's not. How are you using slow here?
Like. It feels like time is infinite when you watch that.
Definitely.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying time.
Bad. It feels slow because like every moment it feels like an eternity of just. It feels like how you could imagine hell, where like you're like, oh yeah, hell is an eternity of just torment, and you're like, oh well, that's what this film is, because I feel like I've been here in eternity being tormented. But yeah, you don't get the sense in this film that like the slowness is part of like creating the sense of like time. So much as it's just trying to drag things out to feature length and also trying to like get as much of the like disturbed moments as
I think
it
what it
can.
was is this would have been like an abstract theater performance.
Yeah.
This is like, I think he had the script for it and it feels like he just never changed it.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, sometimes it works. And I think in a way this kind of works.
Yeah.
But
it works in certain aspects, but it isn't Like, it doesn't need... Okay,
It works in time.
it's worth messaging, but it's also not worth putting up there with, like, Eraserhead.
No.
As, like, some of the best, like,
Experimental.
abstract, surreal cinema of all time.
It's no Buñuel. It's no Jodorowsky. It's no Lynch. It's no Blood of the Poet. It's important, but, like, and it's good, but it's nowhere near, like, the top tier of these films.
It's a good showcase of how and how not to do cinema.
Yeah.
Which is especially abstract cinema.
Yeah.
You want your audience...
It's
It's
not
okay
even,
to have your audience bored at times, but it's bad to have them consistently bored and not
without a purpose.
not without a purpose. Yeah.
And like and sometimes it seems like it has a purpose. Like when you're having like these like gory moments, like how long they drag out the like disemboweling scene, and that takes forever too. But
that doesn't feel as long.
It doesn't feel as
like,
long, and it also feels like it's purposely trying to desensitize you to it.
Yeah.
This isn't having anything to desensitize you to because it's just walking and dragging.
90% dragging.
It's a fucking Hobbit movie, but somehow like with better dialogue, and it has no dialogue.
Oh yeah, on the Wikipedia page, it lists this film as silent. That's the language.
Because there's not a single word spoken in the whole.
You know the
film.
credits are in English.
Yeah, so I guess kind of it's in English, but like there's no spoken dialogue, so there's no spoken.
My favorite language is silence, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah. Simon and Garfunkel were the pioneers of the language.
No, they just whispered. 21 Savage also whispered, so he's also a pioneer
I was
of that
talking about the
language.
sound of silence, the
Yeah.
song.
I know.
Fucking
21 Savage also whispers.
Yeah, but 21 Savage didn't make a song called "The Sound of Silence." That was Disturbed.
No, he just whispered on multiple tracks.
Okay, so does Billie Eilish.
Oh, that's a good one too. Didn't think about that one. That's a good one too. Okay, moving forward.
Yeah. A group of characters appear and carry Mother Earth to another place where they dismember her. Again, I wouldn't be able to tell if it wasn't.
I
a Wikipedia
honestly
summary.
didn't even see any dismembering, so
Yeah.
honestly, that could happen.
Yeah, it could have. That's another thing with like the way the film's made. Like the extreme like contrast is at times like very beautiful, but other times it just obscures the image so much it's hard to tell what's going on. Later returning for Son of Earth, after he too is dismembered, the group buries their remains, planting the parts into the crust of the earth. The burial site becomes lush with flowers. Grainy photographs of God killing himself are shown. In the final scene, Mother Earth and Son of Earth are seen again in a flashback wandering through a forest.
So that perfect scene, that perfect shot was so nice they did it twice. And
Just like the Transformers movies, reusing shots, because they're good, but because they're lazy.
I don't even remember.
There's like a shot that they have of like the Earth and like the moon that they use, like literally every movie to showcase something coming from space. Every fucking movie.
I sat through Transformers 3. I don't remember anything because I think I developed some PTSD afterwards.
Like go on YouTube and just like Google it. Just Google like Transformers reused shots, and there's like a ton of them because they're just lazy.
It'd be funny if it was just the entire film, but they just dubbed the voices over.
This time we colored Bumblebee red instead it was a different Transformer.
So we've been giving you our thoughts on this. You want to? It's time.
I have some other thoughts.
Oh, you have some other thoughts?
Yeah, going back to like the like abstracted filmmaking, we're talking about like embodied filmmaking. We talked the last time about like Stan Brakhage and films like Dog Star Man and like Mothlight, which is Brakhage's whole thing was like trying to capture the nature of scene. Mm-hmm. So like a lot of his films have I don't remember the term he used, but it's basically trying to recreate the feeling of like when you close your eyes and like push on your eyelids and you like see these colors and like darkness. He tries to create that effect.
Best example, Mothlight is literally him gluing pieces of bugs to film stock.
With the idea of being like, this is the life of a moth. This is its sight. This is the vision of a moth going through its life. And he has a bunch of other films like that. Dog Star Man, really good, which is a feature length that's dialogueless and also soundless. There's not a single bit of audio in the whole film. And well, yes, it's very boring. And yes, it's very long. And yes, it feels tedious. It still feels purposeful. Unlike some of the moments in this film. Because like it's trying to create the nature of like sight and it's making you contemplate how you are like visually watching a movie.
Well, this is just like, hey, can you drag them for like 4 hours and then I'll just chop it up and we'll use the best dragging scenes.
I don't even know if it's like we use the best. I think it's more like I have a lot of film stock I developed and I don't want to let that go to waste.
Yeah. It's either make it short or make a feature.
And features sell better.
Yeah.
Clearly, I spent $40 on the DVD.
That's why you only use the legal version that you gave to me.
Yep. I already had that version when I bought the DVD.
So you're just stupid.
I'm just stupid. To be fair, the DVD often goes for like 200 plus, so if I ever feel like selling it, because I haven't opened it yet, that's called investing.
Into my future, because now I can just steal the DVD.
You'll know where the fuck it is. I don't know where the fuck it is, actually. I literally unpacked it yesterday, and I already lost it.
Because I have it. I swooped it up last second.
I legitimately don't know where it's at, and I'm actually kind of upset.
Max stole it. That seems more likely than me stealing it.
She's like, never watching that shit again.
So, you heard our thoughts on it. Time to hear some other people's thoughts. We're going to introduce a new segment where we go over the Google reviews.
It's new to you. It's not new to us because we did this last time.
We didn't finish it last week. We got like halfway.
I thought we finished Google reviews and we got into the next section.
Don't say what the next section.
I didn't say what
secret.
it was. That's why I said the next section.
There's actually a bonus segment that wasn't in here last week. So
really?
Shh, it's secret. So Google reviews, probably like 4th or 5th best resource known man. I don't know if you know this, but when you type in a movie, Google has this thing where it like tells you like the cast, the description of the film, so like the plot summary.
Yeah.
But it also tells you.
It's usually just from Wikipedia.
It actually is, yeah. Or it's from like IMDb.
It's either Wikipedia or IMDb.
But it also gives you the section for. I didn't just know this until recently. You can write reviews for it. I only knew that they had it for businesses, and I've seen Gus Johnson do like a lot of meme versions of that where you just go over the worst reviews for like local businesses, and they're always fucking crazy. So I was just like, maybe there's some actual gripping commentary in these Google reviews, and I wanted to know. And yeah, kind of sometimes. With like anything with humans. Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
So 74% of the people who watch this movie, you can either give a thumbs up or thumbs down, like this movie. So 74% of people like this movie.
Which I think makes sense, because like this isn't a movie you like watch unless you already like are pretty
know
familiar.
what it is.
You know what it is, and you're like the type of person who would enjoy this type of movie. This isn't like a movie you just like stumble across one day like, hey, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
This isn't the fucking movie you find on television. You're like, oh, I'll give that a look.
So we're gonna go over some Google reviews real quick.
Okay.
First one's from Brady with a 6, number 2. Soft porn for the horror fetishists.
Soft porn?
Softcore porn. Soft porn. Softcore porn for the horror fetishists. It's almost like I'm watching myself have an aneurysm, but also at the same time I'm listening to Bleed by Masuga. All in all, great movie. Would play at the daycare. 3 people found this helpful.
Those 3 people should not be allowed to run daycares.
Aisha says, well, either like it, be awfully confused and like it, hate it but lie to yourself and say you liked it, or won't be able to sit through it. Was I confused a lot of the time? Yes. Did I zone out here and there? Of course. However, overall, I did enjoy the film.
And that's like probably the best summary of like the viewing experience of this film. It's like, for me at least, it's like, yeah, I zone out a lot. Yeah, it's annoying sometimes. However, like overall, I think I enjoy watching it a little bit. Like there's times where like moments of the film I definitely don't enjoy watching because it just drags on. But, like the moments that are like good are like really good. So
yeah. Harshavadan, whoever this is, has a really long name with a lot of syllables in it. Very poor camera quality. Maybe the movie is a very low budget film, but you hardly get to know what exactly is going on. Maybe it's because it's a 1990 movie and the virtual effects weren't so developed, but I felt very bored watching it. One person found this helpful.
Yeah, when we read this review last time, I kind of mentioned that
this person's either memeing or they are the most ignorant person.
This is either a troll,
yeah,
or it's just somebody who clearly doesn't know anything about what they're talking about.
I actually no, have it right. Maybe he should have fixed the camera during the film.
Yeah. No, these are the reviews that like always anger me, because like there's like this thing where like, you know, it's an opinion, like you can like or dislike a movie, and like yeah, that's true. But then there's people like are blatantly missing the point, and I'm like, it's an opinion, yes, but like it's wrong because it's so incorrect what you're talking about, and so very clearly missing the point.
You want to talk about incorrect? Next one's from Max. I want me a double cheeseburger with onions, but they don't put the I, so it's like on-ons.
On-ons.
One person found this helpful.
Was that you?
No, actually,
that
no, it
was
wasn't.
me. Except not really. I can't eat onions. So, but I do want a double cheeseburger.
And then finally, Lucas says, "Ah," and then one person liked it, and it was helpful. Or no, one person found this helpful, and it was me. Did I do the odds right?
I'm counting just to see. There's 16 A's in this.
That's how I describe this film. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt when people were being dragged for about solid 90% of the film.
Yeah.
Now it's time to move on to another valuable resource, probably like the 6th or 7th valuable resource known to man, IMDb. IMDb is a internet movie database. I don't know if you know this, Jonathan.
I do. I spent a lot of
And
time on
they
there.
just database movies. They just torrent a bunch of movies and put them on there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's the internet movie database.
It was formerly known as a pirate.
They also have user reviews, and this surprisingly, Begotten has a 5.9 out of 10.
Not
lower
surprising.
than Google, which is kind of confusing because I think Google is usually the trash answers.
It's
That or
no
Rotten
IMDb has like so much garbage reviews. There's always like a fuck ton of 1s and 10s from just trolls and stupid people.
Yeah.
One of my weirdest things I always see on here is like a review is like, this isn't actually a 10, but I'm giving it a 10 to counter all the people who gave it a 1. I'm like, just give it a fucking give it the rating you actually think it is.
The IMDb reviews actually don't mean anything.
They don't. They mean
Actually, they do because it's like part of it's like the 5th or 6th valuable resource known to man or something like that. This one's from WWW-MSU. What's next? A full bowel movement directed by E. Elias Murridge.
Merhige.
Murhige.
How do you get this so wrong? so
Because I've
often?
begotten it. I've forgotten it. Okay, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He gave it a 1 out of 10. Absolutely the worst use of underdeveloped film. Okay, wait. I'm not doing the voice right. Give me a second. Absolutely the worst use of underdeveloped film in the history of the world. How can anyone say this garbage will not use film again? Is watchable. Must be in a drug-induced fever with internal complications. I'm not doing that the entire time. And we read where it took many hours of filming just to get a few seconds to record it. I once had a kidney stone that was with me for 5 days. Yet that is something that would take. That will not make for a pleasurable view for the public. The garbage may have a cult following, but so does the Third Reich, and both are not something the sane people of the world want to be associated. They didn't put with, but I'm going to say with. I have watched many, many movies, films, and shows throughout my years, and I have to say that this garbage was absolutely the worst project ever witnessed. I do not think I have ever given a rating of a 1 to anything, and it is just too bad they do not have lower ratings because this deserved it. Yeah, it's a 0, you dumbass.
They don't have 0 options on IMDb.
Well, IMDb's stupid. But
Most
it's not.
things don't have a 0.
But it's not because it's also the most valuable resource to man.
No, that's Wikipedia.
One of the most valuable resources,
There you
like
go.
5th or 6th. And then 12 out of 16 people found this helpful.
I hate reviews like this where people are just like asserting their opinion over like everything, especially when you get like comments like, this garbage may have a cult following, but so is the Third Reich.
Okay, Third Reich wasn't a cult following,
wasn't a
it was
cult.
an actual following.
It was a political system that
And-
took over a country and then took over other countries.
And it's not what sane people should follow, but it's also not a cult following.
Yeah.
Cult followings are for like
Small things.
cults.
It's small, obscure,
Cult
underground
followings
things.
cannot take over nations.
Yeah,
and
a cult following doesn't win you a fucking office by election and then allow you to then, become a dictatorship.
and then become a Nazi.
Yeah. And then also, like, a bowel movement directed by EOS Merhige would probably actually be pretty interesting. A full bowel.
We saw it.
I mean, a real one.
We saw it.
Fair enough.
I told you, we just got biology. When you die, you clear out all your bowels, so it is
Yeah.
a full bowel movement.
But and then there's other things. Like, I have watched many, many movies, films, and shows throughout my years. This is
I watched many, many movies and films throughout all my years, so that makes me a good, smart film watcher.
and it doesn't.
So I know quality.
It's how you like. It's a statement like that separates like the idea of like a cinephile from a film lover, and like a film lover is somebody who enjoys watching movies, and they just like watching movies, and that's fine if they do that, and it's fine if like the movies that they mostly watch are just like popcorn flicks, lesser things. But like cinephiles are people who, like actually study films and they actually study like film analysis and discussing films, and they watch weird films and obscure films and art films because it's the full breadth of like what the art form is. It's not escapism, it's an art form, and you take it as an art form and find these really artistic ways of expression. That's what a cinephile does. And like that's people who go to film school. That's like me and you.
I've never touched a child in my life, so I don't know what you're referring to. I'm just gonna keep this distance.
Fuck you. Anywho, but yeah, and then like you have like I've watched many movies.
I've watched many movies in my ears.
So has my dad.
I can see with my eyes and hear with my ears.
My dad's watched many movies. You know what his favorite movie is? Do you want to know? The Greatest Showman, which is garbage. It's a terrible movie. The dubbing's bad. Like it's based on lies again. He also really likes the Star Wars prequels. He also really likes Batman v Superman.
Okay, your dad really likes taste. Good movies. Okay, we'll move on. Let's move on to Dragokin, who says the title of this is some deep stuff. They gave it a 1 out of 10. Begotten left me wondering whether it has been a movie or a video installation. Either way, it's been truly disturbing. Okay, I like that statement, video installation, because that's kind of what it feels like more of an art exhibit at times because of the pacing. The main question is why are such movies and installations treated like art? There had always been some rudimentary plot that could have been interpreted any way you like. Sound and music followed what happened on the screen, yet it all sounded like random, albeit harrowing noise, as if someone tried very hard to trigger a suicidal reaction in viewers. At the time of its creation, Begotten must have been a challenge to make. Today, with digital photography and powerful computer generating abstract images, it would probably have been easier to make. 5 out of 6 people found this helpful.
I feel like you kind of answered your own question when you said, at the time of its creation, it must have been a challenge. That's an important thing to keep in mind when you discuss a film gaining a reputation in its time. And, you know, taking a place in history is its time and the things that happened during its time. You can do that towards, like, a lot of things. Like, Frankenstein, nowadays, not that scary of a movie. It's not that, like, groundbreaking of a horror film, but back in the fucking 30s it was.
Workers leaving the station ain't shit because that stuff's so easy to do nowadays.
Yeah. You know what? Capturing a fucking moving image, it's so fucking easy nowadays. Who gave a shit about the Lumiere brothers when they first fucking did it? It's so goddamn easy nowadays. You know, having a plot and a story so fucking easy. You know who's fucking bullshit? Georges Méliès, because fucking plots are easy as fuck nowadays.
The last one from Elias 4, the feel-good movie of the year. And there isn't a rating for this, apparently. Stand Up Cheer. Begotten is the warm and fuzzy tale for the whole family that Disney has been attempting for years. The film about the birth of the Messiah who has seizures in the woods and is dragged around by lepers has the whole country... I like that term, lepers. That's what we should have been calling for the entire film. Has the whole country laughing uncontrollably. The plot appeals on multiple levels to children and adults. Funny guys in robes for the kids... C-section childbirth for the older folks, and it is one of the cleverest scripts to come along since Thomas Edison's classic, The Sneeze. A film that pays homage to Keystone Cops, Tennessee Williams, John-Luc Godard, and those lovable Muppets, the Muppets. Begotten is one of the 2 films you won't want to miss. The other is Don't Look Back. What's Don't Look Back?
I actually don't know.
Well, let's do some research. I'll do it on my phone. Let's knock over my phone onto the mic stand. That'd probably be good.
I've already got my phone out. You can just fucking wait. You little bitch boy.
Okay, let's answer this question real fast.
Hey, no, I'm okay.
Actually, no. Yeah, no, we can answer this question.
Well, I think we should also talk about this review first, which is
It's a meme.
It's a meme.
Did we need to dissect the cheeseburger and onions?
We don't have to dissect it. I'm just saying it's
a meme.
Yeah.
It's a good meme. It's
a good meme.
Someone put time and effort into their memeing. This is where it's good. The cheeseburger and onion one is kind of B tier meme. This is A tier meme. So let's move on. Is this good? Is it good?
I just looked up. His parents just like a horror film. I don't know. It's got a 5.9 rating. The Don't Look Back one.
Who's in it?
Nobody I recognize.
Okay.
What was the question?
Is it good?
Yes.
In what context is it good?
It's good in a historical context, and a general context. In terms of like experimental filmmaking, like, is it top tier? No. Is it like bottom of the barrel? Like, this isn't good experimental filmmaking. This is somebody not giving a shit, not even trying. No. There's clear effort put into this. There's clear, like, thought and integrity
and experimentation
and skill put into this. And the only thing that makes this, like, I guess, harder to watch nowadays, and we talked about this last time, is that this came out like 29 years ago now. And in that time, like, experimental film has come a long way. This type of, like, surrealist narratives have, like, developed, especially for people like us who watch these type of films. And then extreme cinema has gone a fuck ton of a long way since then. We've gotten films like Martyrs and the Vengeance trilogy.
And Human Centipede.
Though it's not good.
What's the other one?
You got Serbian films.
That's what it was.
Like, there's so many films that they're, like, have really, truly pushed the envelope of, like, taste and, like, what should be acceptable in a film. Like, in terms of, like, content. Like, obviously none of it's real, but, like, in terms of, like, should this be something we even fake and show to people? Like, these films are, like, pushed that so far. So, like, it's not even really shocking if you've seen those type of films. This is your first foray into this type of film. Yeah, probably shocking. And if this is your first foray into experimental film, like, the style is, like, probably, like, very, like, mind-blowing and, like, cool. But when you've exposed yourself to so much of it, like you and I have, and you've seen so many things like this, it's very tame by comparison. And it's not that experimental in a way, because, like, it's experimental, like, in terms of, like, a story, but, like, the story is still, like, semi-straightforward. Like, it has a very clear, like, progression of events. They may not have been, like, shown well in terms of, like, this guy caught on fire, but, like, the events that, like, as they are, like, very straightforward, pretty clear. And, like, the visual stylization, like, yeah, it's cool, but, like, it's the same thing over and over again for an hour.
Yeah.
So, like, it's good historically, and there's elements that are still, like, really good nowadays to people who enjoy these types of films. But as a whole, for the average film viewer who's not concerned with history and is only concerned with, like, something to, you know, be enjoyable watching and things like that, in terms of liking these type of movies, you've probably seen better.
Yeah.
At this point.
I think it's good and it's important. Okay, so it's good, but I'm not saying I'm never gonna watch it again. I will not. I will look at the shots that I really enjoy again.
I will probably eventually watch it again in like 10 years.
But I think it's important because of it's kind of a how-to of abstract and experimental filmmaking and what works. And if you put effort into something, it will work. I feel like the things that are put the least amount of effort into, which was being dragged around, is the worst thing about this film. But, like, the shots are nice. We get good shots. The aesthetic, the whole entire film works. Just has some kind of toned down music and music accompaniment and abstract field recordings attached to it that aren't really good, and some bad sound matching. Just like movements are completely off, especially with the knife gutting scene. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But I think it's good in the context, and I think it is important because it was done before a lot of things, before we had the technology to do this super easily.
Yeah.
And just stored everything quickly. Final segment. This time we're going to do a tier list. So I don't know if seen the tier list meme. It was a meme a few months back. And
I saw Donkey's tier list.
It was a meme, but now that the memes died down, I think it's safe to use as just like
it's like an actual as ranking system.
Yeah, as like an ongoing segment. The meme has died down, and now we can use this properly as a thing. And I was thinking, we can just have an ongoing ranking system.
Should we put our last films?
That's what I was going to just say. We're going to go in order. So the first one, Avengers Endgame. So, like, let me give you the rankings. There's an S tier. Have no idea what S stands for, but I'm assuming it's Supreme
Super
or
Saiyan.
Soup.
Super Saiyan.
And then you have A, which is for amazing, but not soup. And then you have B for remarkable, but not soup. Then you have C for cool, but not soup. And then D for adequate but not soup, and then E for adequate but not soup, and F for failure but not soup. So I think Avengers Endgame is like, it's definitely not an S, it's an A or a B in my opinion.
I give it a high B. So B.
Okay, I agree with that. Then we have so Clockwork Orange and Eraserhead. Those are both S's. Like we don't. Those are our favorite
They're
films.
our favorite films.
Like,
if we didn't include those as S tier, like what the fuck?
And then Sorry to Bother You, I think is an A. Probably.
I think it's a high A, low S.
I don't think it's an S. I think it's somewhere. I don't want to give it an S because I think
we should reserve S's for like.
Yeah, S is like perfect. Sorry to Bother You. It's
very good.
It does a lot of things extremely well, but I don't think it's an S.
Yeah, I'm giving
because
it
like
an
the
A.
first viewing isn't the best.
Yeah.
Once you figure everything out,
it gets a lot. It's a film that like benefits so heavily from multiple viewings.
Yeah. I'll put it as an A. Not saying that films that require multiple viewings have to be A's. They can be S's, but that one in particular
is
and then finally Begotten. I think it's a
C.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Maybe B for contextual importance, but C.
C overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final question. Is it a film?
No. Yeah, it is.
Thank you for doing the bit this time.
I did the bit this time.
I'm proud of you.
The bit is back, baby.
Oh no, I wasn't recording. Just kidding.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Just kidding.
I would probably strangle you.
I probably would strangle my own self like this. And then that would make some Aphex Twin noises too. So you go. That was an Aphex Twin track. We don't even need to do a musical outro, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So until next time, guys, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Is It a Film. You could subscribe to YouTube channel.
Got them all now.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as It Is a Film. It's not youtube.com/isitafilm yet, but once we get 100 subscribers, it will be.
So subscribe.
You can find us on YouTube. And that's it. This has been episode 5 of Is It a Film? An episode we like to call
You kids better be gotten the fuck off my lawn.
And until next time, guys.
Or befotten.
Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
And I'm Jonathan.
And see ya, boyos.